Documentary short story. The greatest samurai, Takeo Osahir, who contributed to the Renaissance of Japan. Takeo Osahira was always wondering about the secret of the European West's progress over the Asian East, until he found the answer, which is the engine and mechanics. The idea. Takeo left Japan to Germany on a mission, to study the science of mechanics and engines, and to obtain a Ph. Books and theories only. But I want to have the ability to manufacture engines and know how to deal with them. Takeo remained puzzled as he looked at the engines, and used to say, "As if I were a child in front of a beautiful game, but it is very complicated. Italy is the way out." Takeo remained so perplexed until he heard about an exhibition of Italian engines. And here Takeo says, "I took all the money I had, and I went to that fair, and I bought a used engine, and I took it home, and then proceeded to disassemble it. And I said, if you take it apart piece by piece, then you can return it. It means that I will have the necessary knowledge to deal with these engines." Then he continues saying, "I used to open the motors and disassemble them, then draw each piece accurately, and this may take me a whole day from beginning to end. I used to eat one meal a day. And I only slept what enabled me to continue working. Then I reassembled it. Again, when I put it back in and started it successfully, I was so happy that my heart almost stopped with joy." Takeo adds, "Then I told the head of my mission that I had started the road, so he gave me a broken engine, so I successfully repaired it. At this point, the head of the expedition said to me, 'You must now build for us a complete engine of your own making.' The head of the mission added, 'Now you have to make these parts yourself, and then install them to be an engine.' Taki says, 'In order to be able to do that, I joined iron smelting factories, copper smelting, and aluminum factories, instead of preparing a PhD dissertation as my German professors wanted me to do. And I turned into a worker who wore a blue suit, and stood humiliated next to the Western metal smelter, and I obeyed his orders as if he were a great master. Until I served him at mealtimes even though I came from a samurai family, and the samurai family is one of the most honorable and ancient families in Japan." Takeo adds, "I was thinking of serving Japan. And for the sake of Japan making everything easy, and I spent 8 years in these studies and training, during which I worked between 10 and 15 hours a day. After the workday ended, I would take a guard shift. During the night I went over the rules of every industry on the ground." Takeo continues his speech by saying, "Then, Mikado, the Emperor of Japan, heard of me and wanted me to see me. I said to myself, I will not deserve to meet him until after he establishes a complete engine factory, and indeed that took me 9 long years. After 9 full years, I took 10 engines and took them to the emperor, and said to him, 'These are 100% Japanese engines,' so we ran them, so they all started. The Mikado smiled and said to me, 'This is the sweetest instrument I have ever heard in my life, the sound of pure Japanese engines.'" Says Takeo, "This is how we owned the module, which is the secret of the power of the West. And we transferred it to Japan, we transferred the power of Europe to Japan, and we transferred Japan to the West." Thus, Takeo was able to transfer this advanced technology, and even develop it for the benefit of his country and nation. It is the restless driving force, it is self-confidence.